Well, welcome back to BoomX Beauty Beat. My name is Lora. We are back in the groove. This is the Ultimate Transformation Plan 777, and what we're talking about is the Dating Detective series. We're diving into the 7 secrets. We're doing 21 videos on dating and finding true love, or transforming the love that you have into the love that you really truly desire. And I'm going to be walking you through step by step. The last video you guys can take a look at in the playlist. And the reason I'm doing this, first of all, it is something that I feel guided to do. I was a professional matchmaker, but that has little to do actually with what I have as far as information, crucial information to give to you. I've had a unique life, and something that I feel is going to benefit you as far as the knowledge that I have acquired. And I'm also going to be sharing with you my own dating experiences and how I was able to find secrets to true love and to finding the lasting love that we all deserve, and how I've overcome my own barriers, what those were, and how I did it. So the topic today is overcoming failures in love. And I don't love using the word failures, but a lot of us use that word. I would rather use the word lessons, because I feel that's all that they were. And there's reasons that we get thrown these things, and I'll explain further in that. And we're also going to talk about the steps to success in order to completely transform, yourself into being in a readiness state to get the love of your life and bring them on in. And certainly love isn't always presented to offer you a fairy tale. We know this. We know, we've had it. And sometimes, in fact, it's very often to hold a mirror to things that you need to work on. And this was the case for me, definitely was the case for me. And I'll talk more about that as the video goes on. And so it can be our greatest lesson. Well, it, in my opinion, probably is the greatest lesson of all that we can get on this earth. So it's a very important series to kind of understand. So what's the first thing to look for? So when you're finding love, the first thing to look for, which might be counterintuitive to your initial kind of gut reaction to things, is not to look into the superficial things. It's about first identifying where you're vibrating at. And I mean your soul vibration, as far as, are you feeling like you have a lot to offer emotionally to deeply share with someone else? And what I'm just going to re-explain this if you've not heard me talk about this before. So low vibrational energy is somebody who's going to be more gossipy, more negative, more talking about superficial things, not going deeper, not asking the big questions, not really reaching deeply in. They're kind of just consumed with all the distractions of our 3D world. And what I want to graduate you from is from the 3D world into more of a 5D experience, so that you can feel the richness of love, because the other kind is very, very short lasting. It won't take you through, that kind of eternal love we love to see in the movies and what we dream about. It won't get you there. And it's important that you have that experience here in this world. And the 3D world, it has its place. It's important. But you have to be able to see what it is for what it is and transmute that into a greater, deeper, richer experience. So let's just do a little analogy on yourself. You're going to have to do a bit of soul searching. You have to take a look at where you are not in alignment. You'll know where you're not in alignment by how your gut feels, what your stress levels are, what your anxieties are, if you're healthy and feeling good in your body, if you're feeling good about your relationships. Are they toxic? Are they not? You have to know what your soul is feeling. Are you feeling in alignment? Are you living in alignment with the soul and your soul's path? Even for what you do in the day-to-day, are you living it in a way that you feel like you're in alignment? Everything feels good in your world. And where it's not, those are things that are movable. Even if you're in a place that you're not enjoying. Say you're standing in line and you hate standing in line. How you can transmute and transform your own self, your brain, or if you're in traffic and you got road rage, how you can transform that into the most pleasant experience as opposed to being super, super stressful and negative. And when you're embarking, you also have to be willing to let go of expectations when you're coming into relationships, because we don't quite know who and what is meant for us. We just have to come into things sort of with a bit of an open spirit, an open heart. So you want to look at it from a place on how you can further heal and expand in the presence of someone else. Regardless if this is your forever person, or if it's a new friendship you're forming, or if it's somebody you're just going to do a few dates with, every experience, every interaction you're going to come into with another person, you're going to look for those opportunities to grow and expand. So even if that experience, I don't want to use the word negative, so from now on my language is going to be in contrast. So if it's in contrast to what you resonate with or what you enjoy. So if somebody comes into your presence and they're overly egotistical, and that is something you do not enjoy, that's in contrast to what you feel inside, what you feel that other people should express, like humbleness, gentleness, sweetness. If it's in contrast to that and that's resonating super strong and you can't see through that, because sometimes people have a bit of a veneer, they have a bit of an external existence that's not really completely who they are. Sometimes you got to look past those little surface things. So stay with it long enough to see if you can see through it, and if you can see the deeper side of somebody, because we all have pure love and pure joy in our heart if you dig deep enough. I'm not saying there's not people that don't live in complete contrast to that. I'm saying that some people live in it, but they hide it. So taking a bit of a deep dive when you come into contact with other people, say you're dating and you're trying to figure them out. Sometimes they put on a bit of a bravado show, but it's not really who they are, if you know what I'm saying. But your goal there is to try to see if you can learn and grow in each experience you're going to have, and not expect them and look at them as the one every time you go on a date or meet somebody for a coffee or do whatever. You want to just see if you can't expand and grow from that experience, and see how that's vibrating and resonating from your personal soul's journey and your personal vibration, which hopefully you've risen to a place that is in alignment with a better way. In other words, not negative, opposite of negative, positive, loving, fulfilling, peaceful, beautiful, all the good stuff. So when you're on this whole journey, you also want to take a look at the unconditional love that you're giving yourself. Because if you're looking for unconditional love from someone else, but you haven't given it to yourself, that's a very heavy task to put onto somebody else. You are on your own path. You have to get into the zone of fully forgiving yourself for whatever, because we have just been plopped onto this earth. We didn't come with an instructional manual. We're going to have to bump around. We're going to have to make mistakes. We're going to have to live in contrast sometimes. We're going to have to do things that we feel like we're not of our highest good. And that is part of the journey. And taking that away from your journey is taking away from the expansion you've already created. So if you look back on your life and say, dang, I don't have anything to show for it. I don't have much of a savings account, or my body's not where it wants to be, or my family, they're all toxic. All of these things can be worked on from a place of knowing what you want to do in order to align yourself. So you have to fully forgive anything that you've done, sneaky, lying, cheating, bad behavior. You're going to have to forgive it all in order to understand how to come in alignment with someone else. Because if you're living in shame and you're living in fear, That's the first thing that's going to present itself when you come in contact. Because remember, we come in contact and everything but our words are received first. That means our body language, our energy that we're giving off, our overall aura, all of those things are resonating in a vibration that people can feel before you've even opened a word out your mouth. And remember, there's no right or wrong. There is only contrast. Because at the base of every single one of us who comes here, we are born as pure love, pure joy, and all we want is love, acceptance, kindness at the core of our being. Everything else has been put upon us. Everything else is contrasting that so that we can get closer to that. So when we're born as babies, they're just cute little innocent things, and the world gets poured upon them, and the game begins. So we forget that we come here as pure souls. We forget that we come here from a pure source of love. This kind of love, which I've experienced a couple of times in my life from an extra place that I've told stories in the past in my videos about my kind of like unique experiences I've had with Source and stuff like that. That pure love light, I've had that experience shone through me, is unspeakable. Like it's unbelievable, but that's who we actually are. And everything else is a fight to get back to that. We're in one big world of amnesia. We don't remember what we are. We have to find our way back, and all that contrasting is only making us kind of crash together and expand a little bit further, because it's like when you get sick with a cold. Have you ever got sick with a cold and you're down and you feel gross, and then you get better? You get this like supercharged energy. That's kind of what's happening with the problems in our life. If you can get back to your health, then you have now, your cells are stronger because they've withstood the pain and the suffering of that cold. Same thing with all the things that we've experienced. It doesn't matter how horrific those experiences have been. If you're still standing, you still have breath in your soul, you can overcome absolutely anything. And I'll explain more about that as I explain my journey, because it will kind of blow your mind a bit. Okay, so no, obviously nobody's perfect. I am far from it. We are on a journey. This is a journey. So basically, you keep asking yourself constantly, are you in alignment with your soul? Or do you have more work? Are you pretty heavy in the work mode? Do you feel mostly happy? Do you feel mostly joyful? Do you feel mostly in alignment? That is where we're trying to get to, not perfection at all. In fact, the journey never ends. We're constantly having to get hit with things and then strengthened up and realigned further and ascending higher. Hit again, handling it, realigning, getting higher, 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 higher. That is why we're here, because every time we do that, we're actually not only expanding this world, we're expanding the universe, because we come from a source that is using the earth to grow its own source, if that makes any sense. How do I know all this? Well, I've come into some abilities in my mature years where I have some psychic abilities, I have some tap-in abilities, and through a lot of self-isolation, almost like monkhood, you're able to kind of like tune in. You know, you've heard how monks do this. They kind of like quiet themselves enough to hear it. Everything's off, no distractions. Anybody can do this, by the way. You don't have to be a monk. You can do it in your own little home. It's harder to do when you got screaming children, mind you, but you can do it for periods of time, even 10 minutes a day, if you can do that tune-in process. That's why they call it meditation or whatever, quieting your mind enough so that you can tap in, tune in, and hear what, or try to remember the amnesia of what we really, really, really are. So if you come together with someone who is mainly 3D, in meaning like they don't even concern themselves with this nonsense, they just want to like get their bucks, get their money, get their car, get their this, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those things, but they have no interest in like diving 1 second below the surface of all of that, aren't asking questions like, why are we here? Where do we go after this? Blah, blah, blah. They're just like riding out the surface life. Those kinds of people are going to all be in pain, because that kind of thing doesn't bring you deep, deep, deep joy or satisfaction. It'll only give you a quick fix, like a new scarf. Or I'm not saying those things are bad. Those are great quick fixes, but they're not anything that's going to feed your soul purely. And what we're here on this little dating series doing is trying to find pure love. Anything less will not do, right? So when I talk about 3D, I also want to just mention that's what we call also the ego, or the ego mind, or our minds. Our minds and our egos are important. We have to have it in order to ride this ride of this world. But our job is to move past the ego mind, move past our mind itself, and try to align. I mean, you guys probably know through yoga, there's the chakras, there's all those kinds of things. You guys can do the research on that. I am not an expert on that kind of thing, but the physical trappings that we get ourselves into will not obviously get us the unconditional love that we're looking for. Well, we're going to talk about female and males. All right. So the world has changed a lot in the past, say 10 years even. And we can see how genders are becoming more blended. And there is an absolute reason for that. It's not by accident that that's happening, because we're ascending to a place, our souls don't know the difference. We do have energies, however, and we'll call them like a female or masculine energy. And each one of us carries both within us. And normally there is a dominance, and sometimes you can be very well balanced between the two. But as people, we normally dominate in a female or more feminine or more masculine energy. So a more feminine energy would doesn't matter like the meaning, but it is more of a nurturing role. It's more of a motherly role. And the male energy would be more of a fatherly, protective role, and takes control of things, that kind of energy. So this feels a need for a divine feminine or divine masculine yin-yang, balance to come together. And they very often say opposites attract. So you need the feminine and you need the masculine energy to blend. And you can have a woman in the relationship who rides way masculine of an energy and the male rides a female energy. It doesn't matter. But somewhere, some way, there has to be a yin and yang within. Otherwise, it'll be too dominated on one side and it won't have balance. So whatever you're going for, whatever type of relationship, doesn't matter if you're two women, two men, or whatever gender, doesn't matter. You guys can name them all. I don't know all the pronouns by heart, but it doesn't much matter. It's just the energy itself has to be there in order to have the balance. So why do relationships fail then? So in relationship, a lot of times it's simply because one or both in the relationship refuse the healing process, because we have to heal ourselves, because we're going to get bumped and beaten around this 3D experience. They refuse the healing process, coming into truth with what their soul's journey really is, which is pure love and joy. So as I said before, life needs to offer us contrast in order to rise above and expand. So we can ascend even closer to that place. Without contrast, you can't expand. So you have to have those experiences. Those people who have had super like cushy lives, nothing's happened to them, they're kind of surfacey. There's not much to them. It's the people that have gone through these deep pains or deep traumas or deep things. You'll notice those people will be much more empathetic. They'll be much more understanding in a lot of cases. Because they have grown and expanded their soul. And as they're going through these experiences, it is vibrating fully throughout the universe, and the universe needs that in order to expand itself. It's actually feeding off of our expansion process, and coming into union with somebody is the ultimate expansion. And when it doesn't work, when things are just not working and you've got past loves, you have to and sometimes you can get back together with somebody. Sometimes, 10 years later, they go and they actually do the work, and then you meet up with them on the street and woof, they're like a new person. The good stuff is there, but even better, they're amazing. They've gone through all these things, they've done all this expansion. Now you can come together. But for those that refuse to do the work, in my opinion, maybe they pass on and they never do the work. They're going to have to come back and keep working at it, because the whole job of our soul is to get that expansion experience. And just think about all your past loves as being, you weren't expanding yourself enough, they weren't, one was ahead of the other, whatever, nothing more than that. And then you can let go of the pain of that experience, take the good, take what you learned, and try to figure out, they refuse to expand this area, and that's why this failed. Not because they're horrible people, they may seem like they are, but it's just that they're in pain and they have not transmuted the contrast from joy, pure joy, love. They've only just sat in the muck of the 3D world and just stubbornly stuck themselves there without doing any work at all, or very little. So just think of it like this: without those failures, there will be no expansion. There will therefore no chance at that pure state of love in unity. You can have pure love for the person, you can have pure love for yourself because you've done the work, but the unity, that soul, soulmate, or twin flame, after they've gone through their torturous repetitive cycles, all of those things, they can't get there until you've done those expansion rituals in order to get to that unity. And along the way, you're going to still bump into things, but because you're mostly in that good space, you're going to be able to stand the test of time because you've got enough of the good. So I'm just going to repeat something. So the greatest gift you can give to the universe is when two people, whether that be soulmates or twin flames, come together, figure it out in pure love, and that becomes eternal. And that love will emanate into the universe. There is no stronger power as it expands to the heavens like you see in the movies. Or source energy, whatever words you want to use, God, Allah, I don't care. You could use anything that you want. It's the purest form of love. And we are co-creators in all that. We're co-creating the universe. Isn't that insane? One thing I didn't understand before I went on this journey is how little it takes to co-create. So when I go for a walk and I'm having this gratitude moment and I'm touching a flower and saying, "Hi, flower." I know it sounds so lame, but "Hi, flower," and I touch it, and I'm really in love with the beauty of that flower. That's boop. It's like a little shot of co-creative energy to the universe. So you don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to do anything huge. Just you aligning with nature, the universe, is enough to co-create and putting yourself in that position. So don't think you have to do anything huge in order to be as important as the President of the United States. Well, we know that sometimes not the best example, but somebody who is super spiritually gifted, and you are just as powerful as just anyone else beside you. It doesn't matter what you have, don't have materially. It means nothing. Your alignment is your power. So just know, if you feel like, oh, the one that got away, or the person that you wish that you could have loved, you think you could have loved them, maybe you knew them in high school or whatever. Whatever is really meant for you will never pass you by. Because sometimes the universe is trying to get you with somebody, but that person refuses to do the work. That's okay. They're going to send you someone else. There's thousands of soulmates. There's only one twin flame, mind you, but there's thousands of soulmates out there. So if that person isn't aligning and you're frustrated and you can't get them to, you think that they're the one and there's no way it's going to happen, just ask for a new one, because you can get another soulmate at any time if that happens to be the situation for you. The universe does not want you to be alone, sad. They want you to be happy and creating pure love and the joy. Because isn't life better when you have somebody to look at a sunset with and revel in a beautiful anything? It is better. It is better when you get to laugh together in a show, or feel just fully fulfilled in your physical relationship, or feel fully experiencing a joyful moment with someone else, and having a childlike play moment, laugh with somebody. Just that unity, it makes it an extra special memory, and that's why we are encouraged to go into union with others when we're ready to do so, and when we've done our own healing work. This is a big video, isn't it? We got lots to talk about. So think of it like this, when you're sitting there and it's your birthday and you've got a little candle and you're by yourself, it's beautiful, you've got a little candle. But when you join into like that super union with somebody where you're magically together and everything's right, it is more like a firecracker show, the most explosive firecracker show for the universe, and it produces just incredible amounts of energy. So even your synergy and all of that is producing juicy, wonderful energy for the universe to co-create the source energy with the universe. So we are super important, each and every one of us, and all of our love stories are important to the universe. So don't forget that. So whenever you're having a great moment with somebody, think, dang, I just co-created. Well, I do now sometimes. I think like that. So overcoming past love issues is much easier when we do understand this whole journey in a deeper way. One thing I don't like is that whole term about baggage. Baggage, like people's like we're carrying around all these bags on our back. Well, we may be in a way doing that if we fail to take our lessons and growth from it. So if we just take it as I'm a failure, or it's baggage because this stuff happened to me, then yeah, I guess I could see it as baggage. But if you take it as lessons that were needed to get you closer, you're not going to look at it. So it's all perception for you guys. If you're healed and you become grateful for the past, if you aren't healed, you'll repeat the lessons. And here's where it gets kooky. You have to keep repeating the lessons in a loop, finding more of the same people over and over and over and over until you do. Like me with the whole narcissist loop. And there were reasons why that loop repeated for me, and I could be mad at myself for losing 35 years of my dating life with narcissism. But boy, they're good teachers. They are good teachers. And when you break the loop, you'll know it. You'll be like, I did what now? And it is a loop nonetheless. I'm here to try to get you to have more of a productive life as fast as possible, because you want to enjoy as much of this as you can. It's a great ride. So now I'm going to tell you about me. So for me, for example, I'll just use myself as an example so you know, my issues had a lot to do with boundaries. I had none or very little or whatever. So I had very difficult time with boundaries. There are times when I over boundaried because I was just like, it was just like a new ball throwing game that I was trying to practice. Sometimes I over hit the mark, sometimes too short, sometimes too long. So you have to practice any kind of new tool that you're learning. I also had like a very anxious attachment style. Oh, are they gonna leave? Are they gonna call? Are they gonna call? Why aren't they calling? All that stuff. I had major abandonment issues, and I have major trust issues. I still have them sometimes. I do have bipolar disorder, and I'll talk about that more in a future series. I'm going to talk about different mental disorders that I have and I'm aware of. And sometimes when you're out of alignment, those issues will come up again. So staying in alignment is the key, as much as you humanly possibly can. But trust issues, you know, oh, I feel like he's cheating. I mean, constantly. I always feel like, if you're a phone checker, you want to run and check his phone or her phone or whatever. And just generally feeling lovable because I didn't get the love that I deserved as a unique, beautiful child in the world, because both my parents were narcissists and they had really little ability to love me because they had no love for themselves deep down. So how could they love me? So until I made peace and I healed myself, there'd be no possibility for me to even experience true love. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that, folks. So if any of this is resonating, take that as an aha moment to yourself, because you can't have it if you don't have it for yourself. So as I continued grappling with these toxic relationships, and all the toxicity consistently came up, as I said, true unconditional love has to be given to yourself. And if you're having challenges with that, you can always ask for help. You feel like you're talking to the air. You're not talking to the air. You've got guides. You've got spirit. You've got source helping, wanting, waiting, because they need us. They need you on the team. And if you're sitting on the bench, the game can't go on. You have to get in the game. So you will emanate a wholeness that is undeniable once you align. It's undeniable. Walking about town, some people will want to run the hell away. You'll scare them because your energy is too strong, and some people will gravitate to you, and some people will half gravitate, be scared, half gravitate. I get this all the time, even just going for my walk. Some of them super smile at you, and some of them are like, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Like, what is that? That is called alignment. That's called doing the work. And you can feel it when you're in it. And it is amazing balls. It's amazing. Those who are coming in contact to you in relationship, they won't feel like you're needy or wanting something from them. But like I said before, even in the dating scene, if you're in contact with people that can feel that strength, that energy, you could say confidence in a way, but it's different than confidence. Not like an ego confidence. It's like a oneness with self that emanates from you. They might run away. They might run to you, or they might go come. They don't know what to do, or they might, feel completely unworthy. And it is such an unusual, bizarre experience, but you need to expect that once you do come into Unity, because I talked about in the very first video, and I started a series about meeting a bunch of millionaires, and I'm going to talk to you guys after we get through these videos on the millionaires. I dated almost all millionaires, almost all, and what they had to say about me, and whether they worked out or didn't work out, and why. And so make sure you stay tuned and you like, subscribe, and be part of this, because it's going to be interesting. And every time you like, and every time you subscribe, and every time you comment, you're co-creating the energy of love, because that's what we're talking about, and you're going to send up a little firecracker. So make sure you do that. So Only that you are, which is pure love, because your soul, your source, can co-create that with another and build upon it. So you can't really, if somebody's way, way, way down here and you're way up here, you can't pull them all the way up. You can pull someone up a little bit. They might be a little behind you. That's doable, very doable. And sometimes your love is strong enough to bring you to a little bit. That person can catch up to you. You can tell if it's possible. But if they're so far down there, you don't have the time or energy. You gotta get someone at least within the realm of here somewhere. And we're gonna talk what to do if you don't know where to start. So what you're gonna do if you don't know where to start this whole thing is, first of all, just stay quiet. Go in a room, stay quiet, and you're gonna ask Source, God, whatever you want to call it, higher self, I don't care, ask yourself for guidance. It's all the same thing, by the way. Go on YouTube, Google each issue that you're experiencing. So say you're experiencing neediness or anxious attachment, so you can better understand the general premise behind it, because there's a lot of great knowledgeable people who can give you guidance on each issue. But you got to sort of sit down with yourself and write down the things that are holding you back, whatever they can be. And then once you've Googled each issue, you're going to go within. They can all be healed, no matter what they are. They may pop up occasionally, that's okay, but most of the time, the whatever the physical or psychological trauma is, if you're still standing here, it's healable. Doesn't matter how horrific. Believe me, I've had horrific. You have the power. You can access your soul. You can access your soul by asking for it. Just ask. I need access to my pure love soul. Ask anything and you shall receive. I mean, I would love to go into talking about my personal major traumas that I've had. I can't go into detail because YouTube they'll do funny things, and this message won't get out there. But let's just say that physically, emotionally, psychologically, I've had it all. Physically, had it all. I've spent time in 7 women's shelters. Yet I'm still sitting here feeling whole within myself, for the most part, most of the time, with nothing but love in my heart, even for those that brought all that trauma to me. How is that possible? I didn't just forgive them, I feel full love for them. How and why would I? Why would I? Well, because I've connected to my higher self and I've connected to my purpose. I've tuned and tapped in to source energy, and there is no greater strength. So what they were doing is not strong enough for what I got. So no match, no match, no match. It was just physical or mental or whatever. Pure love energy source, there's no match in that. So that is what's most high, most pure, the most pure love that you can possibly imagine. Feelings of contentment that you can't possibly imagine. And not every minute, like I said, but mostly, or at least I know how to find my way back when I get thrown off course, because I am going to get thrown, and I'm going to get thrown again and again, and it's going to continue for eternity. You're always in a state of expansion, but they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Oh, stronger it makes you, it does. And so the most important part of all of this is knowing how to find your way back. So once you get it once, you can always find your way back. It's like a trail. It's like, oh yeah, I remember where that trail is. You just get back on the trail, and soon you're right back into that source energy again. So as you get thrown off, and dust comes along, you take a shovel, you shovel your way back, and you see the trail, you get back onto that trail, and you're good to go again. So the good part about my ability to center myself to in union with that energy anytime I need to, even if I get thrown off for a week, I had a bad week or whatever, is that once you tune in, you get busy manifesting. If you're tuned in and you know when you're on that roll, when you're in that vibe, you can manifest anything you want at any time, but your strongest moments of manifestation is when you're in that powerful place. I get it most of the time when I'm quiet, or when I'm listening to something inspirational, or when I'm on my walk listening to music and I'm meditating or I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I get it the most, and that's when I really try to tune and tap in and ask and manifest the things I want. And you've got like, here's you and here's your bank account. So say you've got a bank account desiring love more than anything else in the world. And every time you say, God, I wish I had my soulmate. God, I wish I had love. God, I wish. You've got like this bank account where the universe is like listening to you. And all you have to do is find the key to the door to open it so that it can come spilling out. But if you're wishing and you're walking back and forth and you're pacing around the building and you're never keying it open, that's where you're sticking yourself, if that makes any sense. You just have to open the gate. You just have to tap into it. You're a powerful co-creator, and source is no greater than what you are. You're just as powerful as all of that. So whatever you desire to co-create, if it's a greater life experience by coming into union with another person who's on your level, just simply do that work and ask clearly what you want, and it will be on its way. A great way to do it is through writing it down and then closing your eyes and repeating it, or any kind of technique like that is called manifesting. And you're manifesting when you think really hard on something, and combine that with coming into alignment, and then it comes flooding in. So there's one other thing I have to explain, and that's divine timing. This can be a little confusing, a little frustrating. Divine timing is at play. It's sometimes where you can manifest and like you open the door and you go down to get your mail and you bump into that manifestation like immediately. Sometimes it's a more of a situation where you plant a seed of corn and you got to wait a little while, water it a little bit. Believe once you plant that seed of corn, you know it's going to grow because you planted the seed. All of the ingredients are there. The sun's there, the water's there, the soil's there, everything's there, fertilizer, blah, 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 blah. You just got to wait it out. But you know it's coming. So then you have to let it go. You'll be like, ugh, it's coming. I can't wait to see it. It's coming though, because it's got to come. It's not going to not come. It has to come once you've asked for it and manifested and aligned. There's no way it won't. So instead of believing, when, just go about your life. Go about your life. Enjoy your moments. You don't know what else is coming along your road that might even put you into further alignment, to get to the right person. Maybe you have a job to do in your career that gets you closer to that person. Maybe you have to get a little closer in your soul's purpose, like what I'm doing. This is my soul's purpose. Maybe I need to get to the 14th video before something happens. It's not up to me. It's up to divine timing. But once I've done the work and I put the seeds in and I planted and then I just go about play in the playground of life, playing, having fun, enjoying, and awaiting, knowing it's coming. You have to believe and know it's coming. You deserve love because you are love at the core. So that is how you're going to overcome all of your love lessons. We're taking away the word failures, and how it's going to manifest itself into reality. And I guarantee it will if you do the work. And stay tuned for more love secrets. Don't forget to like, it's co-creating, subscribe, comment. And if you want to write down in your comments below what you want to manifest, that's supercharged. Tell me exactly who you want to find out there, and wouldn't that be cool? And then if anything as far as stories you want to tell, give other people hope. What a wonderful community that is to do something like that. But goodbye for now. Have a blessed, purposeful day. You are love, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.